Video Game DKC's weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carless, GDC Gamasutra co-runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include a detailed look at what 2019 may bring in terms of business trends games, as well as a whole host of other leftover 2018 highlights, daily meditations on games, a Chinese indie megahit, and lots more. Phew. So we are in that just before it all kicks off New Year period, and I hope you are returning to work with a happy attitude and a relaxed demeanor. Actually, we are just getting really amped up for our Game Developers Conference 2019. As all the latest news shows, hope a bunch of you can make it. Until next time, Simon, curator. Opinion. Here's what 2019 will be like for the game biz. Joost van Dreunen Gamasutra article. 2019 promises to be a great year in games. Innovation and competition will elevate the industry's offerings and drive more inclusivity among a broader range of audiences. Simon, as note, will linked this onto Gamasutra from Joost's excellent newsletter, which I would recommend subscribing to. The history of dance emotes in 15 GIFs. Look Winkie PC Gamer article. It's a little funny how much we have come to expect dance emotes in modern games. Obviously dance does not top our list of demands like 5Ks apart, are unlocked from emotes. But it's honestly hard to imagine a mode without a diligently programmed it. My favorite game animation of 2018. And Floyd no frame plus YouTube video. Here's a list of 2018 games with amazing animation. Simon, as note, Floyd, X extra credits. It's a really smart video game X animation type. So this is a nice roundup. The 40 games we cannot wait to play in 2019. And Webster the Verge article. The year is almost over, which means it's time to start dreaming about all of the great games you will be playing in 2019, and it sure looks like there will be a lot. Next year is shaping up to be packed with notable releases. From the charming world of Animal Crossing to the violent action of Gears of War, the United States, and the design of 90 FPS games. Chris Franklin Errant signal you to video. The United States is a game that harkens back to FPS games from 20 years ago. Is it just a worn-over collection of old head tropes? Or does the game make a case for something like this being made today? Press a 2018 the year's best video game soundtracks. Chris, Redfearn-Murray a closer listen article. This year, the proliferation of unique styles and new approaches to old genres brought video game soundtracks to what is perhaps a mood, high in quality and thought. From niche to popular composers, classical traditions to synthwave, everything we celebrate from 2018 bears the mark of being distinct, whether a modern spin on old, or just a modern. Ducking up the game design on Mutant, Year Zero, Bryant Francis Gamasutra article video. Thanks in no part to a foul-mouthed talking duck, Mutant, Year Zero has managed to find an audience and a strong niche in the strategy game space, showing how even a stripped-back version of can deal with the right tone and sense of polished. The Bandersnatch episode of Black Mirror and the pitfalls of interactive fiction. Simon Park in New Yorker article. Interactive fiction, RIF, is an old and treasured mode of video game design. Per the veteran designer Sid Meier, a video game is a series of interesting choices. In many ways, the multi-branched story is the purest expression of that idea. Bandersnatch is a Netflix episode, so it's by necessity simpler than many IF games. But it also demonstrates both the enduring allure of the format and its exasperating limitations. A breakout story, a Finn Johnson The History of How We Play article, the early years of Silicon Valley, our jam-packed with legends and so many crossing events happening simultaneously. Jobs' intersection with the story is very much conjecture with a backdrop of absence that very much complicates the story. Sussing out the factors of the creation of this breakout prototype is difficult, so let's go through the process which led to the current conclusion. Burden like is 1899, inside blockbuster American West video game, Nicholas Long Audubon article. The first time I see a ravens, I flush them out of an alpine meadow carpeted with wildflowers. I pause to watch the flock fly off towards the distant, snow-capped peaks, trailed by their echoing croaks. When a man riding by on horseback bumps into me, irritated, I shoot the man dead, and take his hat. So it goes in. Red Dead Redemption 2, Deorbital Presents, Amr Al-Aaser's 2000, Undated Games of Theyar, Amr Al-Aaser Deorbital article. I constantly struggled to both get my hands on everything I wanted to check out. At one point, I had over 60 tags on my phone full of promising titles that I have still not got around to. Even as I write this, I am covering the games that threaten to shuffle this list out. Simon, just note, I know enough. Best games already. This one's fun because it's distinctly alternative. The best writing in games in 2018. Wes Fenlon PC Gamer article. To celebrate the best words in video games this year, I decided to turn to the people who write them. I asked a whole bunch of video game writers to tell me about their favorite story this year, and to also pick out a particular bit of writing to highlight, a singular story moment, a dialogue, a bit of flavor text that stuck with them long after the game was over. Telling stories about a decaying small town with cities, skylines, Cameron, Consumer Kotaku article. YouTuber Does Hair has created a sleepy Texas town called Barry'sville in immaculate detail. But what really makes it unique is that it is chock full of stories created by community members. It is an astounding piece of work that clearly required a lot of mods and particular model choices, and the final product is a place that looks, uncannily, I might add, a lot like many small-town locations in the American Southwest. The rules of Compile 1998 developer interview, Splations all about, Compile article. This compilation of interviews from 1998, as all about Compile book, sheds light on the early days of the prolific, now defunct software house Compile and the origins of several of their most memorable titles, including the comical RPG series, Madou Monogatari, and its following block, puzzle game spin-off, the wildly successful Puyo Puyo, Touch Arcade 2018 Game of the Year, on Eli Hodapp, Touch Arcade article. 2018 is almost behind us, and we have already listed your other 100 favorite games of the year, which is quite a task, given the amount of great games that had to get cut to get us down to 100, which leaves us two things left to do to fully packed 2018 inch and move on to 2019, reveal our Game of the Year picks, and publish our personal favorites. Simon, just note, there's so much good stuff on emotes that it's almost impossible to keep up with. Kudos to Touch Arcade for trying. Best mobile game genres of 2018 top 3 games. Charts. Tom Kinibert Mobile Free-to-Play article. 2018 has been a year of change in mobile. There's been an entirely new genre emerged in the form of Battle Royale. Hypercasual continued to dominate the free charts, and a large number of prominent publishers had titles slip out of the top 50 grossing Supercell King Playrix. I think I like the load most when I am not actually playing it. Christian, on the new Roadhammer article, the load looms in the mind when you are not playing it. It does for me, at least. The art seems wilder,